I don't want to do another video. I don't like doing more than one video in a day. More importantly, I want to go to bed. I have to be at work by like 7:30 in the morning. I'm sleepy. But, we gotta talk about this shit. We gotta talk about the news that just dropped that I totally forgot was happening till my friends reminded me. That's right, everybody. Cardfight Vanguard just had a stream, and this was one fucking hell of a stream. First up, a recap. When I last talked about Vanguard, shit wasn't looking good. We were probably the worst this franchise had ever been with IF. The game was in a weird spot because of both the pandemic and just all the return of older stuff. I skipped Masaki in glasses because I just couldn't take anymore. I couldn't. I've got an MLB deck and an Alt Mile deck. I tested them once, the one time I actually saw other human beings. But that is it. That has been my Vanguard experience. But we are back in. We are going back, boys. Or not, I don't know. The world is in a weird state. But this seems fucking awesome and epic. We're going to talk about this. We're going to do it quickly because I got to go to bed. You get one picture. One fucking picture. I need sleep. So anyways, the big things they revealed is that overdress is not what people have been joking it's about. It's not going to be a show about Kai in a dress like we all thought it was going to be. Overdress, we'll get into the anime a little bit later. Let's do the card game stuff first. Basically, standard is rotating. The V stuff will now be its own format. Premium will still be its own format. They'll get support here and there. The first product of which will be a V support deck bringing Tetra Drive and Raging Form back. Y'all are gonna love that. Y'all know you will. But standard as the main thing they're promoting will now be dress standard, D standard. Take in that D. You want that D. You know you want that D. So D standard will consist of everything consisting of the new sets and all that good stuff. So in other words, it's set rotation, it's the new era, it's all that good stuff. And I love how in this presentation they even address it'll probably piss some people off, but with any luck, it'll bring people back in. And oh my god, the stuff they're using to bring back in. So the first big thing about this new format is that clans are dead, or at least in terms of being the driving force for how you build a deck. That's right, from now on, this is a game of nations. It's basically Magic the Gathering. You can make the argument similar to what they've done with Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels, in that they've simplified how you build decks and everything to just types. Here, it's the nations. There's a big, long, complicated new lore thing. Good for them. I got so fucking worried watching that lore thing about what it meant, but ultimately what it just amounts to is we're in a new timeline where Geese happened 3,000 years ago, if I'm following this correctly, and now we've got 5 new nations, because Megalonica and Zoo combined into one, and Bermuda Triangle gets to be its own nation, because why the fuck wouldn't it be? So yeah, and so the way it works is that now every set, your nation will get support. Now obviously, not every playstyle within those nations will get support, but there will always be new stuff for you to try and upgrade your decks. Do something new, do something different like other card games do. It's not just, oh, I'm a Tachi player, I get support once a year, as opposed to something like Genesis or Royals who just get support constantly. So that is really cool. There's also a new marker thing where markers used to be. I don't know what that's about. There will be a Dr. O stream tomorrow. If y'all want me to cover some more information there, I will. I'll leave that up to all of you. But the big thing, obviously, from there is that no more grade lock. Isn't it great? At the beginning of the game, you select 4 cards, you put them to the side, and you can discard a card, and you just write it. That's epic. That also means that you will have to put more consideration into how you do your rides. It's not just what you got. Because what if you're in a matchup where the grade 1 you set aside won't help you, or the grade 2 or the grade 3, and you've got to really think about that. I also like a lot of the new card artworks and designs, too. The main character will be using Dragon Empire stuff, which I love how that's just still Dragon Empire. It's dragons. What else do you gotta call it? But, the main thing is kind of this, like, bird dragon looking thing. It's just kind of a unique thing. You see his other ace in the promo is kind of a robot dude. That's sort of neat. There's a lot of great stuff. Ooh, also, no more VRs. Thank fucking Christ. I hate VRs. I hate that my deck's entire value is always just tied to the fucking VRs. That is so great. And the new trial decks. $3.99 here in the US. That's fucking insane. It's awesome. And we get 5 of them. Every character will be somewhat treated equal. The MC and the rival will get it best, but that's freaking awesome. Like, that is so cool. And we should probably get into this new anime, because that's mostly what this channel is about. So, this new anime is about a kid named Yu Yu. Okay? And I think if I'm reading the synopsis correctly, he runs away from home and gets involved in Team Blackout, these card fighters who fight in a circus or a carnival. Can you all tell I'm tired? And you know what? I'm so glad this isn't another IF type situation where it's not a card game anime but uses the card game stuff. This is a straight up card game anime. They use sleeves! They got sleeves on their decks! This is great! Now all we need is for them to start looking down on other people for not using the same sleeve brand as them and we're in the real world. So yeah, they use sleeves, and based on the premise, it seems like a fairly standard kind of thing. Like, the kid's got a little chip on his shoulder, he's got to learn to make friends, you'll learn more about the other characters, there's waifus and shit. Like, it's a fairly standard card game anime, but here's the thing. Only 25 episodes. Yeah, starts in April. First episode will go up early on the YouTube channel, but just 25 episodes. We get 12 in the spring, and then we take summer off, and 13 in the fall. You could make the argument that's to line up with Springfest and Fallfest, but that's great. Like, we're not just cramming episodes down your throat anymore. It's going to try and be like an actual anime, and it's being done by an actual studio. It's being done by Clamp. They got the Code Geass guys to do this shit, and there's none of that weird Langley Code Geass proportions to bodies. This looks like a real anime, and I think the circus carnival looks like a good, interesting backdrop. Will this be any good? Time will tell, but it looks like they're trying to differentiate. The thing is, even though I did wind up liking most of the V stuff as a whole, I think it really sort of broke a lot of people's confidence in Vanguard as a franchise, because they just thought, oh, they're out of ideas, they're just going back to the beginning again, or they're just adapting the manga version. This feels like they're just putting it all out on Front Street. They're doing something new, they're doing something different, they're fixing a lot of people's issues with the way Vanguard is done. All that is such a fucking great idea. Oh! Weird rainbow trigger 10 million power, die everyone die! That is so cool looking. Like, this was an insane series of announcements. And the actors for the show. These are like legit voice actors, not just people they found off the street. I do think it's funny. I think the main girl is voiced by Aoi's voice actress from Vrains. So, go figure. So yeah, that is all the CFV news. Did I get it all? I think I got it all. I'm too tired. This looks really good. I think this sounds like a step in the right direction. It sounds like they're doing what they've always needed to do, and that's just, boom, put it right on Front Street. Do a bunch of crazy new ideas. Take risks. Like, do something epic. And yeah, this looks like an interesting step in the right direction. Now, a lot of people are confused how the anime's timeline works, because what caused the Cray issue is Gize, and they said that was 3,000 years ago, but from what we see in the anime, it doesn't look like the future, and I think at some point they said maybe it's a different timeline, but there's some sort of connection so they could nostalgia bait later. I don't know. I don't really know, and as of right now, I don't really care. We all know I hate the Cray shit, and also it looks like this anime will just be its own thing, which makes you even wonder what the Cray shit is about. It's not important. What is important is, this is what I want out of Vanguard. I want it to improve, I want it to get different, I want it to change, and this looks like that step in the right direction. And I hope it continues, and we'll see, because it ain't that far away from coming. And again, if you want me all to cover anything new on the Dr. O stream later, I'll do that tomorrow after I've had some fucking sleep. So yeah, tell me all that below. Give me your thoughts on all this news. Which of the new things do you want to try? I usually end up being a main character deck kind of guy, but at first glance, I feel like I'll probably just end up doing United Sanctuary or whatever it's called, because that's just usually me. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me for any and all Cardfight Vanguard updates, because I can care about Vanguard again.